All right. Ronald Butch DeFeo Jr.
Yes.
And that's around the Amityville horror, is it?
Yes. All of your viewers who are into horror films will remember the movie, The Amityville Horror. It was based on a book basically by the same name, which was supposed to be based on fact, but it was utter fabrication. The true Amityville story is on the night of the 13th or 14th of November 1974, Butch DeFeo was down in his basement of this lovely house they had in Ocean Avenue in Long Island, took out his Marlin rifle, went upstairs, shot his father dead in the back, blasted his mother to death, went into his two very young siblings' room, two little boys. One had an accident at school and he was in crutches, laying in their beds, blasted them to death. They shot another little sister of his, then went upstairs and blew another one's head off.
Jeez. And at trial, did they give some factors as to why he snapped?
Well, the problem was he pled guilty. When he was arrested, he was interviewed by Detective Dennis Rafferty and Lieutenant Robert Dunn at Yaphank Police Headquarters. I interviewed these guys. Actually, they beat the shit out of him with a Long Island telephone book to get a confession. And I mean, if you've ever seen the Long Island telephone book, it's heavy. But he confessed. It was overwhelming evidence, DNA, everything. Well, not DNA, but, everything, blood and everything. He was guilty. And he goes to trial and he pleads not guilty. And then 10 minutes later, he pleads guilty again. He had a bent lawyer. William Webber was bent. He was a crook. He was the one that did the deal on the book deal and the movie deal. So he gets literally raised by the judge for being a shyster. He come up with so many stories, and then you get the haunted house story and Satan, and you've got all this, and then you get all the sequels. But nobody gives a damn about the family, which I find obscene. They're making all these fictional movies, but they're pissing over the graves of these dead kids. No conscience whatsoever.
Did he not go for an insanity plea?
No, not really. No, he was a druggie. He was a druggie as well. But I met Ronnie. I met him in prison. The guards told me, waffling away, you have to sign a disclaimer when you go in with the film crew. And a weedy little thing, tiny. And the guard said to me, we only go in here selling 2s and 3s because he's possessed by the devil. Yeah, right. When I went to see him, he was sitting on a bench in a hallway, unshackled, like a little ferret. And he said to me, where the fuck have you been? I haven't got all day sitting around waiting for you. Then during the interview, which was televised, I just took him to pieces, tore him up.
Could you give us an example of the things you said to him to take him to pieces?
Well, one of the things I did have in my possession was a map that he drew where he'd thrown the Marlin rifle into a dock behind the house into the bay. And it's signed DeFeo, Ronald DeFeo. And I said to him, you've admitted this, Ron. I said, look, you even showed the police where the rifle was. You drew a drawing and you signed it. I said, and the police divers jumped in the water and picked it up and they hardly got wet. He said, I didn't draw that picture. He said, they gave me a blank piece of paper and I just signed it. Now, can you see the logic of that? They found the gun 10 minutes after he signed it, a piece of paper. It's all these silly little things he comes up with. But again, he bathes in his notoriety like a duck in water. He loves it. He loves the attention he's getting. But actually, if you met him, any of you guys met him, any of your viewers met him, you think, what a little idiot.
How come you didn't get the death penalty?
Death penalty wasn't around at that time.
What year was that?
It was a moratorium on the death penalty then. And it still is. New York doesn't have the death penalty today.
Is he still alive?
Yes.